This is Rhonda Brooks with Farm Journal Media. I'm here today with Missy Bauer, Associate Field Agronomist. And Missy, I know you've been talking to farmers about the planter clinics, that there's just so many different moving parts to a planter that's easy for something to get worn down, to not work properly. And you've got several different things that are going on with the transmission in this piece of equipment that you wanted to talk to farmers about. Tell us about those.
What we want to take a look at here today is the transmission of the planter. There are a lot of moving parts here, and we want to inspect things like the chains, try to get a handle on if we think we have any frozen links where a chain might be jumping as it's coming through the system. We'll inspect the rollers to make sure they're working properly and maybe not too grooved out. We'll also look at or listen to things like the bearings that are on here. What we do to run this transmission in the shop to really get a handle on what's going on is use a small little motor like this. We'll go ahead and kick this on to run this whole drive system here so we can take a look. As I was mentioning on the chains themselves, if we're going to be looking for a frozen link, we can usually pick that out as it's coming through the rollers. So if we have a link that's frozen, we'll actually see where it'll jump as it's coming through here. This particular chain's in pretty good shape as far as that goes. But if we take a closer look as far as the rollers in this situation, you can see this front one is rolling pretty good, but this back one is not rolling at all. So we'd want to take this apart, try to get that freed up, see if we can get that roller to start moving. The other thing is this roller in particular is starting to get pretty grooved out, so we might want to think about actually replacing that as well. When those grooves get too deep, we can have some issues with that chain trying to feed through there. The other real big thing I like to do while we run this transmission in the shop is actually take a listen to the bearings. If we've got a bearing that's going bad, we'll be able to hear that sound inside the bearing as being kind of a loose, gravelly sound that's in there of a bearing that's bad. So we'll take a listen here. This bearing actually here is in pretty good shape, so we're not picking much out. But if we go ahead and inspect this on our planter ahead of time while it's in the shop, we can really pick out a lot of issues and problems that are much more difficult to see in the field. Or if we have issues once we are in the field, they're very costly as far as the amount of downtime we have to repair them.
All right. Well, thank you, Missy.